My phone here, so I'd like to call our meeting in order. And ask, just to let everybody know, we usually videotape our meetings. Yes. Okay, can my mic be turned up? Let me try it even closer. Is that better? Okay, there you go. The majority of the time, our meetings are videotaped. Although today the video stream is not working, but it will be audio. So it will be recorded for future reference. So at this time, I call upon our secretary treasurer here to see if there was any regrets for our meetings.
Not today, Madam Chairperson. There is no regrets.
Okay, so I welcome everybody here. We'll call and see if there was any deferral, withdrawals, or matters before the committee at this time.
No, ma'am.
Perfect. And any change to the hearing?
No, there's not.
Perfect. So we'll be going by our agenda pack. At this time, I'll ask each of our members, does anyone have any declaration of pecuniary interest? No, seeing none. So that leaves us into item number 3, our minutes of a previous meeting. So the Committee of Adjustment minutes dated May the 10th. If I can have a member to move. Member Sheik. Second. Member Stanners. So we have a recommendation that the minutes of the Township of Mapleton Committee of Adjustment hearing May the 10th, 2023 be confirmed as circulated in the agenda package. Was there any questions or concerns? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those against? The motion is carried. Were there any matters arising from the minutes? Seeing none. So that leaves us into our agenda of our 2 applications. Our first application today. So please note that each hearing of the Committee of Adjustment is based on all information that is provided to us, the committee members. And the committee shall make the decision based on the 4 tests and no precedent shall be made. So our first hearing today is A 202306. The location of the subject property is legally described as Lot 1, Plan 424, municipally known as 38 Bonnywood Drive, Drayton. And the purpose and the effect of the variance application is to provide relief from the front yard setback for a residential dwelling. The applicants are proposing to construct a new dwelling with a reduced front yard setback to the turnaround road allowance. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. So at this time, I'd like to call upon our statement for the Secretary Treasurer regarding notifications and comments received to date, Mr. Larry Wheeler.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Staff can confirm that agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice by first-class mail on May 31st, and postings were completed on June 1st. There were no issues or concerns expressed by Mapleton staff nor by agencies. Planning report prepared by Mapleton's planner Linda Redmond. It was received and is in the agenda package, and there were no ratepayer comments received prior to the creation of the agenda.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call upon our township planner for her comments, Linda Redmond.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me? Is that good? Oh. It's not lit. Can you guys, is it,
Yeah,
it's on? Yeah. So it doesn't, it lights up here. Oh, there, it's on now. Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So this essentially, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This lot is existing, and the bulb that is, constructed at the end of Bonnywood was put in place. It's a temporary bulb until the lands, adjacent to Bonnywood or adjacent to this lot are, developed. So this is not uncommon when you're looking at a subdivision and a road stubs, but is intended to continue at some point in time. That they'll build a bulb there, and it's for maintenance purposes. It's for truck turnaround, for snow removal, that kind of thing. In this instance, the bulb happens to go completely into this lot. Usually it's kind of shared amongst all the lots, but it goes completely into this lot, and the applicants want to build a house. So it doesn't make sense to require the 20-foot setback when we know that at some point in time, that bulb will be reduced when the road is continued through. So really, this is mostly a matter of public works, and as long as they're satisfied that the house having a 0 setback is okay, then we're okay with that. And they did go out and have a look at it, and they were satisfied that it's not going to hinder them in any way to continue doing their work that they need to do on that road. Also, building reviewed it, and there are some building code requirements when you're building like on the property line like that. But again, that's easily addressed through building code, and the CBO is satisfied with that and has provided comments to reflect his needs at the time of building. So we have no concerns with the request, and we know it'll be a temporary situation.
Thank you, Linda. And I'm wondering if the owners, Courtney and Patricia Bornan, whether you wanted to speak to the application or. Yes, would you like to speak to the application? Okay. Is there anyone else attending today that would like to speak to this proposal? Seeing none, I'll now turn to our committee members. I'll start to my far right, Member Stanners. Do you have any questions or concerns to either the owners or our planner?
Thank you, Chair. No, I don't have any problems at all with this. I think it's just a matter of a time until they cross that line and move into the next fields. None of us have any idea when that's going to happen, but when I drove back there and I had this little sketch with me, and I thought, this isn't good, but looking at it, the applicant has lots of room for to park a vehicle from the end of the asphalt to wherever his property line is. So I have no problem with this at all. Thank you.
Member Keomo?
Hi, I don't have any concerns with this at all either, but I do have some questions to ask. And so I'd like to ask some questions of the owner and maybe of Linda as well. So I guess so I'll start with Linda first. Who right now owns block 9 of registered plan 424? Is that municipally owned, or is that something that then goes to the Burnans when they acquire it? In other words, I mean, it's kind of a portion of their property, or should be part of that lot.
He's asking me the question. I'll answer it. You're okay. Okay, so block 9 is the bulb, right? I'm just looking at the mapping here and I can't see so little. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah,
Block 9?
It looks as if block 9 was obviously carved off of what is lot 1 to
Yeah.
create the bulb. And I'm just wondering, so eventually, does that go to the property owner, or to create a straight through lot line across the road?
Through you, Chair. That's exactly what will happen at the time that that road continues through, which could be years from now, for all we know, because the land adjacent to it, there's nothing on the horizon at this point in time, but that could change tomorrow, for all we know. But once that road is continued through, then what will happen is it will be deemed surplus. That block will be deemed surplus by the township. And the landowner adjacent to it would have first rights of purchasing it. So that's how it would work.
Okay, so my next question then, it has to do with, I'd like to ask the owner, is the positioning of the house that you're proposing right now, are you satisfied with where that will go? In other words, being right up against the edge of that bulb? Right.
Then that's going to be fine, because if the lines up on up with everybody else on the street, and it gives a decent backyard. So really, it fits in there nicely in the neighborhood. You've still got an adequate room for 2 or 3 cars parking. It's actually no different from the situation on the other side of the road from us, okay, where the road around we use being the turnaround. So it's actually a very similar situation on the other side of the road. With number 37 and number 39 volume. They lost frontage as well. Lost in the sense that they don't have that their neighbors do. In fact, my neighbor on the left, which is number 36, he has a tiny piece cut out of his too.
Yes.
Okay, because that's stuff. So, moving on property 20 feet forward, eliminating the setback, puts it nicely in line with everybody else's house. It makes it look very consistent, and it's perfectly suitable for us. And, you know, someday when development continues, then that land will come back to us, and then it no need.
Okay, maybe just one more question. So Linda, in your mind, then that lining up of that house with the others is going to work. It won't be set further back than it otherwise would have been. In other words, if lot one, I'm just thinking if lot one had all the full property right to the regular road lot line, would the house be set that far back, even as to what is proposed? Oops.
There we go. So I think what you're saying is if the bulb wasn't there, would the placement of the house be even closer to more in line with the existing houses on the road? Yeah, it would, but they don't own that now, so we can't. It will be set back further when that road is normal. It will be set back further. But there's nothing we can do about it because they don't own that land yet, so we can't approve them to construct it. And the township isn't in a position yet to give them a portion, sell them a portion of it at this point in time. They still need it.
I think the last part of your question answers my question, whether there would be opportunity to sever another crescent off of there to allow them to push the house forward more in line with where it would ultimately. But if that's not possible, then they say if they're happy with where we position and the staff are happy with where it will be ultimately once the road goes through. I have no issues with it. Thanks.
Nasty house. Actually, use anywhere near the amount
Thank you. Member Sheik?
Thank you, Chair. So is there a space on the property for parking if we accept this proposal? And, or will the building envelope come right to the lot line?
Through you, Chair. So the legal parking space is inside the garage.
My next question, the block 9, which is that loop part. Linda, you had mentioned that if it reverts back to the landowner, that they may have to purchase it. But if they don't purchase it, are we approving something that could potentially be landlocked?
Through you, Chair. No, because that is a road allowance, whether they own whatever portion they own, it's a road allowance. So if they don't purchase it, it will continue to sit there as part of the road allowance.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Member Doomering?
Yeah, thanks. Further to Linda on that matter. So if the Bournons do not purchase block 9, the municipality won't sell it to someone else.
I don't think they can because it would landlock them.
Okay, I have no further question.
Okay, so my question, just clarification, I just want to, you're full aware that when it does open up and that block 9 then is, what do you call it? Rezoned, like freed up, you will have an option to purchase it or not purchase it. Are you aware of that?
Mention having to buy it back. And if that had been the case, I basically, two things would happen. I would not walk a lot, and I would also want the house that we own, which is on 21 Hillview. I mean, that would kill the whole deal. Okay? In fact, I think that's why we stand so long that 21 Hillview to sell it, been on the market for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then I think I would like to ask our planner, what is the normal rule, or do we have anything, or can it be a question that you can answer, like surplus land, if that was declared surplus? And like that was the question member Doomering was having, that if they have the option to purchase it or not, would the township have the option to sell it somewhere else? Or when they do something like this, they declare it surplus land and it is like a nominal fee for the landowner to purchase.
Well, the surplus policies, actually, Larry might be able to provide a response for that. Larry does that, so.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chairperson. I haven't actually done one for a subdivision yet, although we do have a couple coming up. But the normal process is when the survey is already in place. Sometimes there's some survey fees, sometimes there's some legal fees, very small, nominal, and the neighbors split it evenly. But there's no cost. There's no price on the land itself. It's free with the exception of expenses.
Good. That's what I wanted clarification for you to help understand that. So yes, good. Does anyone else, members, have any further follow-up questions? Member Stanners?
Thank you, Chair. As part of all this conversation, there was, I think, Linda made a mention of their legal parking spaces within the garage. If there's a vehicle parked on their, which would be their actual driveway through the night, does that become a ticketable offense? Like if, no, for her. Do you understand, Linda?
I have no idea. What is the parking requirements on the road? It would be the same as, I guess, like on-street parking. That wouldn't be really on-street technically because you're not on the street, you're in the road allowance.
Can I make a comment about that?
Yes.
So, right now, with respect to parking, there's already parking pieces. Thanks, I never know, make sure I don't do the weekend. Down the hill. So that really won't change. I mean, that will still be set back in the parking. And this, you think, but I mean, it's not. You know, it takes 3 or 4 months with a 40-inch lawnmower to clear that area. Okay? So that parking doesn't change, and it doesn't affect my driveway. My driveway is actually look very much like on the other side of it, which have room for 3 cars. Or if they kind of park a little bit on the turnaround. Okay, so situation with our problem would be no different to the other side of the road. Adequate parking, and people choose to park, they will have to respect my driveway in the same way.
No, thank you. No, what my concern was, like, there is a winter parking ban. And in the winter time, I just wouldn't want anybody could complain, well, he's parking on township property. Well, there is a parking ban, right? Like your driveway is that you're going to be parked on. If you park there overnight during the winter, you would be parking on township property, not your own property, right? Like if you had company there in a snowstorm or something, and it would just end up being, I just didn't want it to ever go bad that somebody says they knew they could come out and blow the whistle and make your life hard because of the fact that you are parked on township property.
I will have 2 cars without any encroachment on the turnaround. And 1 car is only 1 parking space. Until that law gets removed. Okay, so it's identical to the situation on the other side of the road. Okay? They basically do not have 4 full parking spaces. Unless they hang the rear of the 22. I mean, frankly, that happens everywhere in town, everywhere, but in the subdivision, right? I mean, people have got their cars hanging over, you know, sidewalk and even sometimes a little bit of a pathway. I personally would not do that. If you have 1, then the road on the turnaround, somebody to park if they're visiting. So it's exactly the same situation as if it's on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
No, from our perspective, it's identical to what happens on the other 2 lots.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns from committee members? Then I'd like to put a resolution forward. If I could have a mover. Member Doomering. Second. Member Kiomo. So I have a recommendation here that the minor variance applied for in application A 202306, located at lot 1, Plan 424, and is municipally known as 38 Bonnywood Drive, Drayton, to provide the following relief as proposed a 0 setback of the minimum front yard setback under section 11.23. Any other concerns? I will call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion is granted. So we'll do a circulation of the attendance sheet. And at this time, I'd like to read the 4 tests that we, the members of the Committee of Adjustment, feel that this variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development of use of lands, buildings, or structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. So there will be a 10-day appeal process. So after the 10 days, then you will be no, there won't be, sorry. Michelle is correcting me on this.
The appeal period is always set at 20 days.
Sorry, thank you. 20-day is my appeal process, sorry. I misquoted. So after 20 days have passed, then you will be contacted again with the building department or the planning. Okay? Okay, we have circulation of our resolution and all signatures have been. So this concludes our hearing for minor variance A 202306. You're free to go. Thank you for attending. So that leads us to our second hearing today. The location of the subject property is legally described as Part Lot 7, Concession 5, Part 1, RP 61R 9653 Peel, and is municipally known as 7725 Fourth Line. The purpose and effect of the variance application is to provide relief for the side yard setback for a livestock facility. The applicant is proposing to construct an 8-stall horse barn, which will be attached to an existing farm building. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. At this time, I'll call upon my statement from our Secretary Treasurer regarding notifications, comments received to date, Mr. Larry Wheeler.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Staff can confirm that agencies and Mapleton staff were provided with the required notice by first-class mail on May 31st. Postings were completed June 1st. No issues or concerns were expressed by Mapleton staff or by agencies. Planning report prepared by our Mapleton planner, Linda Redmond, was received and included in the agenda package. and there were no ratepayer comments received prior to the creation of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, I'll call upon our township planner, Linda Redmond, for her report and comments.
Thank you, Chair. So this is just a basic application. There's a proposal to add on to an existing livestock facility to accommodate some horses on the property. So the location is chosen because of proximity to the existing barns, but also these horses serve as the mode of transportation for the occupants of the land. There is a house currently under construction that is going on the property. So this barn is going to be close to the house. And that's another reason for this location and the need for a variance, because they wanted to keep it on that side of the barn. So the request is for a 13-meter setback. The requirement is 18 meters, so it's a difference of 5 meters. Given the justification for the location, which makes sense, we had no concerns with the variance requested. MDS can all be met. They provided their calculations and that's no problem. So it was just the setback to the building.
Thank you. And I know Mr. Martin is here today. Do you have any comments you want to share with us, or you're just here to answer any questions we may have? Good. Well, thank you for coming. Right. Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll start on my far left. Member Sheik, do you have any comments or concerns to our planner or applicant?
So manure storage is not a concern then with this application. Is that correct, planner?
So MDS calculations were provided, so I guess it's fine. Yeah.
Then I have no further questions.
Thank you. Member Doomering.
I appreciate the use to keep as much farmland as we can and to maintain that side yard, because it's not a very good field anyway. So I have no other comments.
Thank you. Member Keomo.
I don't have any questions. This seems pretty straightforward to me.
Thank you. Member Stanners.
Thank you, Chair. No, I really don't have any problems with this application either. I think they've done their best to make it work someplace, like away from the ball diamonds. I've come past there some nights and I wouldn't want to count how many kids. Paul's supplied a good ball diamond for the residents of their community. If the buildings on the farm west of there had been way up towards the road, I think we'd have had maybe a bit more of an issue with it. But the farm right to the west, their buildings are halfway back the 100. So it's not as if it's encroaching on anybody's lifestyle whatsoever. And so I think it's a perfect fit for the application. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no concerns with this application. Anyone else further? So I do have a resolution before me. If I can have a first. Member Stanners, second. Member Doomering. I have a recommendation that the minor variance applied for in application A 202307, located at part lot 7, concession 5. Okay. It just threw me there, concession 5, because I know I went down the 4th line. So, okay, concession 5, part 1, RP 61R9653 Peel, and is municipally known as 7725 4th line, to provide the following relief as proposed. The minimum interior side yard setback under section 8.2.3B of a propose of 13 meters or 43 feet. No further questions. I will call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion is granted. We'll have circulation of our variance hearing application and attendance sheet. And again, I will read our 4 tests that we, the committee members, find that the variance is minor in nature. The variance requested is desirable for the appropriate development or use of lands, building, and structure. The variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The variance maintains the general purpose and intent of the zoning bylaw. So again, Mr. Martin, there is a 20-day appeal process. I've got it right this time. And then after that, you'll be in contact. So there, all decision forms have been signed. So this hearing for the minor variance A 202307 is now concluded. So you're free. Thank you. So that leaves us to number 6 in our agenda package of general business. We've done the circulation. We have completed the signatures. So upcoming hearings we have for July the 12th. I believe there is an application. Yes, perfect. And then August 9th and September 13th is in our agenda package. We have done the assigning of decisions. I just wanted to briefly review. I did attend the Ontario Association of Committee of Adjustments and Consent Authorities Conference. OCA, I guess is their, as what they say. I don't know. And it was in Niagara Falls, June the 4th to the 7th. And I would highly recommend it to other members that if this opportunity does come up again, you always had a choice in each session. There was 3 to choose from. I always felt that there was something pertinent to me to go to. And just the networking alone, breakfast and lunch was usually what I was really asking questions. Well, not that you guys would ever think I'd do that, but yes. And finding out as much as I can how other people do things. Like I wanted to make sure, do the chairs vote? Because you all see me, I always put my hand up. And yes, this isn't like a council meeting because we are, and I can never say it right. Thank you. I knew Michelle would help me out. We are a little bit different that way. So it is public. Public should know how I am voting also because we're together. There was one session that I went to about a whole committee of adjustment meetings and the chairing of it. And they highly recommended no motions, that it's not council. Again, it is just in concurrence. So if everyone agrees, it goes forward. If it doesn't agree, it doesn't go forward. It's no motions. But that may be something to think about down the road. The other thing that I learned, a lot of committee of adjustments also do consents. A lot of them. So I don't know if that's something that might change going forward here, and it might be something that will come into our table of looking at it. I mean, something to think about. Yes, Glenn or Linda.
So just for clarification for the committee, if the committee of adjustment in Mapleton is going to be looking at consents, it is only in a capacity of commenting.
Correct.
The County of Wellington is still the approval authority for consents. So yes, you would be providing comments back to the Land Division Committee at the county. You're not making a decision on it.
Correct, because we have an upper tier. Yes, that was my one lady that I was talking to because she had an upper tier too. So that's why I really wanted to find out. And she said, yes. Now hers went as far because she was the same role as what Larry is. And if there was no minor variance attached to a consent that came down for comments, she would just handle it and bring it back up forward because her upper tier gave her the authority, signing authority. Now, it's something I don't see County of Wellington doing. So I think it still would be just on commenting, very similar to the process that's in place right now, where the consents are commented by council. So it's that way. So it was an eye opener of seeing, like, I was shocked of how many actually do it in the Committee of Adjustment.
Well, it's mostly the regional governments.
Yeah,
It's delegated down to the local authorities.
yeah.
But county governments, it's mostly done at the county level.
Are they?
That's kind of the
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Michelle.
Yeah, so I don't just make suggestions for people to do things without a reason for it. And the other really great thing that I'm really glad that you were there and that you actually did all of the training that went through that was offered online and coming to those sessions. Because like I said previously, at any given point in time, council could delegate that down to you. And maybe would it just be ones that the county that we know are looking to fast track because they're not controversial, they're pretty standard ones, that kind of thing. And council may still, or any variation of that, but there's a whole other level of training that you're going to need to go through if that actually happens, right? And understanding, you can't take it all in, but we would definitely need to have another training piece. So knowing the other provincial changes that have been coming at us fast and furious, we are in a constant state of flux at the moment. And although there's been enough pushback from the farming community to say, okay, we'll hold up, all comments that were supposed to be due on the 5th have now been pushed to August 4th. And that being that prime agricultural land being able to have 3 severances and each area being able to have up to 3 units in total on them. Although that's been put on hold, that's not to say that they're just going to go ahead and throw that whole idea out, because there's also a lot of farmers themselves who absolutely would love to have that opportunity. Will it be 3? Will it be 2? Will it be 1? Or will it just have some stricter parameters around it? That's possible. Last night, we were here until 10 o'clock doing council. 4 of those were consent, and then the other 2 were zoning amendments. If those consents or that opportunity for consents to go through like that, I have a strong feeling, I don't know, council might still want to go ahead and hold on to them. But if this goes through and the province has been making decisions pretty quickly and then having them implemented pretty quickly, it is a real possibility. So we don't know yet. And we bought ourselves, certainly some more time. I don't know what the comments are going to, truly be when they come back from the province, but it could be delegated to.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for attending.
Well, and I just, want to pass it on and go forward up all the way up the chain of Mapleton Township to allow us to have that kind of training. Just the online courses that we did, you provided us before. I mean, I think all of us have taken it. It was just amazing. I mean, some of the stuff maybe you thought I already knew, but no, it was very, very good to have it. And hopefully going forward, there will be other opportunities for us to have training and to go forward. So I appreciate it. I enjoyed my time there too. It was Niagara Falls. How can you not? So that is everything on the meeting. I will call this meeting adjourned.